So, let's talk about a quiet revolution that's happening online. It's this really interesting shift away from those giant one-size-fits-all social media platforms and a move towards something much more personal, much more powerful, building your very own online community.
I mean, think about it. Does your social feed ever just feel like an endless scroll of, well, noise? You're trying to connect with a specific passion or find your people, but you're constantly fighting against algorithms, ads, and just tons of irrelevant content. If that sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone. It's that exact feeling that's pushing people to find something better.
And this slide really just lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the mainstream experience. The algorithm decides what you see, and your attention, your eyeballs, that's the product being sold. But on the other side, well, that's the promise of a niche community. The discussions are led by actual members, the focus is razor sharp, and you get to be the architect.
Okay, so if that's the problem, what's the actual fix? We're not just talking about downloading another app. We're talking about a completely different way to think about how online communities are built, and more importantly, how they're owned.
This new way of thinking is called SNAS. That stands for Social Networks as a Service. The easiest way to think about it is like a toolkit that lets literally anyone launch their very own social network. And the secret sauce? It's built on decentralized technology, which is the key to taking back control from those big platforms.
All right, so how does this whole thing actually work? Let's break down what it takes to go from just a cool idea to a living, breathing social network. You know, the most amazing part is just how accessible this has become. You just start with your passion, whatever it is. Then, using super simple one-click tools, or even AI prompts, you can have a fully working network up and running in a matter of minutes. The old technical barriers? They've pretty much disappeared.
Okay, so it's fast. We get that. But why is this such a game changer? The answer really boils down to one incredibly powerful word: control. Let's dig into what that actually means for you.
This right here, this is probably the biggest deal of all: data sovereignty. It's a fancy term, but it just means that you, the creator, own all the data. There are no mysterious algorithms boosting some content and burying others. Your members see what the community creates. It's that simple.
And of course, because you own the platform, you control the economy. Instead of fighting for a tiny slice of ad revenue, SNAS platforms give you the tools to make money directly. We're talking subscriptions, exclusive content, marketplaces, all of it completely on your terms. And finally, there's privacy. By building on decentralized tech, which means there's no single company that can be hacked or pressured, these networks create a fundamentally safer place for people to connect. And for certain communities, that trust is absolutely everything.
Okay, so we've covered the how and the why. Now we get to the really fun part. What could you actually build with this? Let's get the imagination going with a few killer examples.
I mean, just look at the possibilities here. Imagine a space for green energy engineers to share blueprints, totally free from the clutter of LinkedIn, or a private, secure network for retro game collectors with its own marketplace. You could even create a hub for AI artists with tools built right in to help them share prompts. The potential is basically limitless because each network can be perfectly tailored to a specific need.
Feeling inspired yet? I hope so. Now let's turn that inspiration into action. If you're thinking about starting, here are 3 absolutely essential keys to getting it right from day one.
First, define your governance. You're the architect, remember? So you get to set the rules for things like moderation and privacy from the very beginning. Second, use the API. Now, an API is just a way for you to plug in custom tools, like a special calculator for your engineering group or a unique art tool for creatives. And third, connect with the ecosystem. You're not building this in a bubble. There's a whole movement of other creators out there you can learn from. So, let's zoom out for a second and look at the big picture. What does this whole shift towards small, focused communities really mean for the future of the internet itself?
See, this is so much bigger than just one network. It's about building a piece of a brand new foundation for the web, what some people are calling Web 4. It's an ecosystem where networks are owned by their users, where they can all connect with each other, and where they're built to last, totally free from the control of a few giant corporations.
When you boil it all down, it really comes back to this one fundamental shift in your mindset, moving from being the product to becoming the builder.
And that really leaves us with just one final thought. With these new tools, this new paradigm, the only real limit is your own imagination. So the question is, what community will you build?